there. There was a girl in the stands that was wearing his jersey over the weekend, and he threw a baseball to her, which was awesome. And, that didn't just make her weekend. That made her year. And that kind of went viral in the whole Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, MLB even tweeted it out, the official MLB account. But right now we've got one of our friends, special guest, Jay Powell, played baseball at MSU, MLB, now the Mississippi State baseball color analyst. He did not make the trip this weekend, but he calls 95% of the games. Jay just said they won because he wasn't there. That's not true. But Jay Powell joins us on the Out of Bounds show. Jay, good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, yeah. I'm sure Coach Polk will remind me of that on
he will.
Friday. Yeah,
he will.
He told me the other day he's leading the SWAC right now. So what? He said all I do is the midweek games. So, but yeah, it was. He went over there and got us 3 wins. So yeah, I've got to give him some credit.
The pitching was really, really good this weekend between Tomas, Duke, and Foster. Let's start with Friday. What did you see?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing we've seen with Tomas all year, really. I mean, he's a true number 1 guy in the SEC. I mean, he's got electric stuff. He's got 2 major league quality pitches with that fastball and that slider. So when you see that, it gives a lot of teams in college baseball trouble. And that's been him all year. I mean, and that's what you want out of a number 1. You want to know when he goes out there that you have a chance that he's going to basically go out there and almost win the game himself, but at least, you're going to have a really good shot to win that game. So yeah, he was what he's been all year.
What are you, Ben Davis early, Ben Davis late, you walk me through. So the back end is not bad by any stretch. Yeah. It's just not dominant, but with the watered down and the portal, I don't necessarily know if there's that many teams that are dominant. I think there's a lot of good teams. Yep. And then it's going to matter who gets hot around May 15th, 100%. Maybe. But talk to me about the back end, and then we'll go to the other 2 starters.
Well, and the only team I've seen so far that has a dominant bullpen is Arkansas.
Okay.
Arkansas is really good. Now, the flip side of that is their starters aren't great. They're okay. I think what you're seeing with the parity and everything else is, nobody has that dominant pitching staff that I've seen so far, where it's just one after another. Now, the Arkansas bullpen is really tough. But after that, I mean, everybody's kind of in the same boat when it comes to pitching. I think Mississippi State, honestly, is in as good a shape pitching as anybody.
So, like, top 6 in the league, depends on the weekend and the matchup, right. And there's not really a whisker's worth of difference.
I don't think so. What I've seen so far, and I've seen them all, I guess, now that they've played with South Carolina, I think we're as good, if not better, than most of the teams 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And I have said that about Charlie Foster from day one. I mean, the kid's got incredible stuff. I think we're as good as anybody we're going to see in this league, 1, 2, and 3, pitching wise. And I think what you see in that bullpen, I think is good enough. It really is. And there's days when they can be really good. I think the big thing with the bullpen has been, it's just been a little inconsistent. And I want to, Ben, I was a hard sinker ball pitcher. And when I see Ben get beat on that slider sometimes, that's the pitch that I think Justin Parker tell you the same thing. It's a work in progress. He had that big curveball and it was so inconsistent, but it was nasty. The metrics on it were great, but he just couldn't throw it for strikes enough. So they've tried to kind of get this slider where he can throw it better, in fastball counts and that kind of stuff. And it's been good. I mean, but it's still a little inconsistent. So sometimes he gets popped on that. And I didn't see what it was. Was it yesterday when the kid hit the double or the scored? I was listening to him on the radio. I didn't see the pitch. And I don't know if it was a slider or fastball, but sometimes that slider gets a little flat and it almost like, he's throwing 97-mile-per-hour sinkers and that 90-mile-per-hour slider kind of runs into their bats a little bit.
And let's be honest, there wasn't a lot of help extending the lead either. I mean, yep. We can run the numbers both ways. Is that right?
Yes, 100%. And on Sunday, you got to score 3 runs.
Right. And you can't go that long without scoring a run.
I know it.
On Sunday.
And that's been a little bit of an issue with them. There's a few games where they jumped out to a lead and they just kind of said, and look, and I don't know how many times I've told high school teams, hey, we got to add on, keep adding on. So it ain't like Brian O'Connor said, we're going, all right, we're good, guys. Right. But it's the same thing, and I've talked to him about it. We've talked to him on post-game shows about it, and he said the same thing. We had opportunities to extend the lead, we never did and stuff. So they know. But yeah, they got to extend the lead and take advantage of some of those offensive situations.
And then Saturday they dominated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they took care of business at the plate and on the mound.
Yeah. Duke is going to be a really special pitcher. And I had, just because I know his makeup and know his character. And, I think there was an issue with, I guess it was Tennessee the week before where he's tipping some pitches. And he was out there, and as when you tip pitches, it feels like you're running around naked because it's a hard, because you don't know what you're doing, but you know something's going on. But for him to go out there and really compete and keep going and give us a chance to win, and he's, basically telling guys where he's throwing sometimes, that's a hard thing to do. So yeah, that shows you though what his kind of fortitude is.
Did you have Duke, Stone, and Charlie Foster in the Cape Cod League, or just Charlie?
I had Duke and Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah. Duke was incredible. He was really good. He started out as a reliever, and, a couple games I extended him, gave him 2 and 3 inning relief jobs. And I said, look, he's earned a chance to start. And so we started him about about the end of June, 1st of July, we started starting him. And he got about 5 or 6 starts up there and was really good. So you kind of started seeing Duke be Duke, I guess you could say. And Charlie started off real good. And I'm going to be honest, Charlie struggled the second half of the season up there. And he got back, and he told me, he said, Coach, I just got to go figure some things out. And in his credit, and a lot of this is Justin too. Charlie does some real funky stuff mechanically. And it's like, and I talked to Justin about that summer. I said, it kind of works. And if it works, you don't want to change it. Because you see guys that hit and pitch that just doesn't look like everybody else, but it works.
Yeah.
And so that's the way kind of God made their body. But Charlie had to go in this fall and change some things, and to be able to get the ball in the strike zone more consistently,
which he did yesterday.
Which he did, and for the most part, other than he started off a little shaky, but you look at his conference starts, he's been pretty good for, especially when you think this is our Sunday guy. So I think Charlie's going to be fine. Honestly, it's for what I've seen in college baseball so far. Charlie Foster is your Sunday guy. I think you're going to be in good shape. And I think you're going to get McPherson back at some point. But it might be, and this is Jay Powell saying this, just looking at the situation, he's been out now an extended period of time. So the stamina's gone down. I think if he comes back, it might be the back end of the bullpen, which if you had Ryan McPherson in and once you get kind of SEC tournament wise, and he can go 1 or 2 innings a couple times a week, pretty good.
So they may drop him in on a Tuesday, late in the game, possibly, to get a couple innings and then kind of rev up from there. Yeah,
and just see how it goes. If he takes off and running, you may see him back in the rotation. But I think if the thing with Ryan is, and this is me looking at it, he's going to be a first-round pick. So you're not going to do anything to hurt him. You want to make sure that, first and foremost, you got to take care of the kid. So, but if he feels good and he's cleared, I think worst case, you get him back in the bullpen and kind of like a closer role, maybe. I think best case, he gets his stamina built back up and he gets back in rotation.
Okay. And hey, there's a long way until at least the last 2 series of the year, plus you mentioned the SEC tournament and then regional play.
Yeah. And it could be one of those things to where, let's say, and these are all, I think, best case. Let's say he comes back and he's pitching toward the last series of the year. What do we got? Another 4 weeks of SEC play. So, if he hadn't started throwing yet, I think, and I don't know, this is me just thinking back as a player. Let's say, if he started throwing, so I don't know, but let's say you get him back around the SEC tournament and he can pitch, say, a couple games in Hoover, and then you get him. And if that's the case, and you can have that arm in the bullpen, and in a regional.
Oh, man.
And not for, to me, what would be great is you have him where he can come in and close a couple of games in regional. Then say you go to a super, and just say next thing you get into Omaha and he may make a start.
Right.
Just depends on, but you first and foremost, and look, I know those guys up there, coaches, they're saying the same thing. We got to take care of him and make sure he's ready to go.
How long, when you're out if he's out another couple of weeks, I don't remember what that'll be, 6 weeks or so, maybe longer. How long does it take to get your stamina back to where you can go 5 innings?
Well, this is the way I always looked at it just as a coach, and it's a pretty good rule of thumb. The longer you're, like, say if they say, okay, you got 4 weeks, no throwing, then we're going to start throwing. Whatever that time period is, double it. So let's say let's say it's 4 weeks, no throwing. Normally it's about 3 to 4, it's about 4 weeks before you're back in the game.
Got it.
And if that's the case.
And he was throwing last week.
So if that's the case, I think from the time of, they said they were going to give him 4 weeks off non-throwing. So just doing the math, I would say from whenever that last start was, look at about 8 weeks.
Okay.
But then as far as before he's back in the game, maybe. And if that's the case, then, let's say he goes out first time, throws 20 pitches, next down is 35. I mean, it would take probably 3 or 4 outings maybe to get him back to where you feel like even then he's probably going to be on a 50 to 70 pitch count, even after 3 or 4 outings, because it's, coming off an injury, you're going to make sure you take care of him.
All right, former Diamond Dog, MLB, Jay Powell on the Out of Bounds show. We're live on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. Mississippi State sweeps South Carolina. It doesn't matter how it looked. Winning's winning in this league. That's for sure. And yesterday got real dicey, and give the mound credit, and then they got the hit that they need, or they got the base runners in the hit that they needed.
Yeah.
Fly ball, I guess. Maluski got it out to the center field, got the run home. And by the way, their pitching several times yesterday got out of jams with runners on base late in the game. You know what that's all about. Is it time to panic over the lack of production at the plate? Because this is now 3 series or so.
Of course, I've said all along, I love our fans, but sometimes we get a little crazy.
Sure.
And I'm a fan just like everybody else. But to me, one thing I like seeing this weekend is, the strength of this team is the depth of their offense. That's been said. No, oh man, look at our offense. We got all these guys, got guys on the bench, can start. Okay, so, and as a head coach, the only issue with that is it's hard to get guys in the lineup. But what I think he did this weekend a little bit was, okay, what we did early in the year, basically he had 2 lineups, right-handed, left-handed. And, so we're going to kind of get back to that a little bit. Now, they didn't just go full throttle, but, they were able to get
Bevis.
Bevis was in there. We saw Valencius in there.
Yeah.
We saw some, and then we saw Sean James yesterday. So, we saw some of these guys. The only one I think we didn't see was Drew Wires, but we saw some of these guys that had played a lot earlier. And for the most part, especially Bevis, he responded.
Yeah.
He had a great weekend. I still think that they're a good offense. I think, the thing that was so tough early in the year was, we talked about how good Bryce was in the 9 hole. And also Ryder Woodson was hitting, right now Ryder's been exposed a little bit and he's struggling with that slider and he's got to figure that out. Stallman's struggling a little bit. And the thing about Reed, he's so good defensively. And then not only that, but he runs into him. So it's kind of like, it's hard to take him out of the lineup. But I just panic. No. But I think they're underachieving a little bit right now offensively.
Fair enough.
That I think going forward, having the ability to play some of these guys like a Bevis, like a Valencius in the outfield, Sean James. And
Valencius took one on a ride that if the wind's not blowing in, that's a grand slam. I think it was.
It was.
Jay.
And so I think
Coach Polk talked about how that's out 90-something% of the time.
Yeah. So I think having those guys to be able to come in and give you those type of games, those type of at-bats, I think is the strength of the team. That's what this – and I think you and I talked about this the first time I was here during the season. This pitching staff, for the most part, I hate to even say this, if we can keep them all together through free agency, but if they got a chance to be unreal next year.
Yeah.
I mean, so they're good this year, and we don't – I've always said if you're going to play at Mississippi State, you don't say next year's the year. No, it's every year's got to be the year. But next year, this pitch staff has a chance to be elite. So they're good enough this year, but we just got to – offensively, we got to get a little more consistent.
Okay. Yeah, because when you look at – you mentioned Stallman and Sullivan and several guys all at the same time that are just not hitting like they can.
Right. And really, and Ace's numbers are good, but Ace will tell you he's had some opportunities he probably didn't do what he needed to do. Garrett Fry's been great to me. He's
underrated.
Yeah. He's kind of just a grinded out.
Switch hitter, athletic.
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
Yep. Bryce has been a little bit, he slowed down. Bryce, to me right now, is hitting too many balls in there. Yeah. He's just getting too many balls in there. That's not him.
Right.
That's not him. But, you know, I really think, and look, early in the year, we bunted a little bit more. And like yesterday,
saw that.
We bunted yesterday. And to me, even in pro ball nowadays, nobody bunts. So you see pitchers out there, and it looks like they're wearing ankle weights sometimes when somebody bunts because they're shocked.
Yeah, he went over there, grabbed it, and slipped. That's all you need to get on base.
Just you've got to make 2 high leverage plays on a good bunt. You got to field it and throw it. And when you hit a routine fly ball to right field, and I know that there's these guys that, you know, are 20 to 35 right now are saying this guy, I don't know what he's talking about because you need to hit the ball in there all the time. But I mean, routine fly balls get you nothing, zero. Right. At least hitting, you know, the ball and forcing them to make high leverage plays, especially in college baseball. Now, pro ball is a little bit different, but college baseball, you're still dealing with some kids that won't play pro ball. Their last
majority
season,
of them.
Yeah. So make them make these high leverage plays, and we did it. We did it some yesterday, and it worked out.
Well, I mean, Jay Johnson talked about it over the weekend.
He's 100% right.
Okay,
100% right.
I mean, he said that's fine what everybody else is doing, talking about velo and everything. We got to shorten our swing.
Yep.
And we got to put the ball in play both on the ground and line drives to make 100%. Some things happen.
100% right. And I've been saying it. Everybody that knows the game of baseball has been saying the same thing. Like the launch angle, exit velo craze does not work to score consistent runs in college baseball. It does not work. It doesn't work. And I will die on that hill because like I said, you're dealing with amateur players, it's going to make errors. Right. And the second thing, they don't hit enough home runs. They can't generate that kind of consistent bat speed to get the ball out of the park.
Even with the aluminum bat.
And even in pro ball, you make an argument it doesn't work. I mean, because you're seeing some ugly games where guys are striking out a ton. But college baseball, regardless of NIL, is still amateur baseball. You're still dealing with guys that are not professional players. They're not going to play professional baseball. Force them to make high leverage plays. You've got if when Mississippi State is good offensively, and Neil now saying on the radio because he heard me say it so much, but when we hit the ball from gap to gap, way back to Jake and Tanner and all those guys, when our left-handed hitters, when you see them hit a bullet to left center, it's when we're rolling.
Okay.
When you see when you see Noah Sullivan and Valencias and Bryce and these guys hitting line drives to right center, and you know. We're not trying to, and I always told hitters this, I'm not trying to make you a slap guy. Oh, we're going to just punch the ball. No. But you have to have the ability to hit the ball the other way because pitchers are taught to do one thing for the most part, pound the outside part of the plate. Pound it, stay away, slider away, fastball away, slider away, come in to show. Well, if you're going to do that, you've got to be able to hit that. And if you go up there as an amateur player trying to pull the ball in the outside corner, you're going to hit a can of crap to center field,
right.
Or you're going to roll over and hit a ground ball to the left side.
Right.
This has been going on back since the guy that had the stick and the string and the
100
ball.
years ago.
It doesn't change.
Right.
Now you got some big boppers can reach out there and hook that ball down the line. It's going to happen, but you don't want to. Coach Polk said the other day, and I heard Neil talk about it with Chris Jans, our basketball coach, when you say hope is not a strategy. Well, I hope he hangs me a breaking ball. Hope's not a strategy. We don't need to hope that thing. You've got to be able to prepare to hit that ball. And it's just sometimes as hitters, we're hoping to get something that as a pitcher, I'm not going to throw you.
Right.
I do lessons at Grit. Tanner Allen's doing lessons at Grit. Tanner's in the next cage. He goes, what are you working on over there? What are y'all doing over there? And I said, well, right now we're throwing sliders. He said, where are you throwing them? I said, down away to a right-hand hitter. He goes, he looks at his hitter, and he goes, see what they're working on? So if you're going to try to pull that ball, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And, I mean, it's just it's hard. Hitting the ball is hard. And I always don't lose sight of how hard this game is to play, but the concept of it isn't. And at least that way you give yourself a chance.
Jay Powell, Director of Baseball Operations, Grit Fitness and Training Facility, world-class facility, Flowwood, Lakeland Drive behind Ergon. And they've got memberships available, indoor turf, outdoor turf, indoor pitching mounds, batting cages, and all kinds of specialized classes for you. They've got monthly memberships, and, of course, teams and individual training are rolling through there on a daily basis. Jay Powell, powered by Grit Fitness and Training Facility. Even though it's been 3 weeks, do you feel like they can break out of this at the plate?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, okay.
I
mean, it's and you know,
because you got like 4 or 5 guys. You just won over the weekend. You got like 4 or 5 guys that are scuffling a little bit at the plate.
Right. And it's you know, it's not like you have 2 or 3 outs in that lineup. Okay. It's not like, and there's been years where, you know, well, we get 7, 8, 9. It's over. Right. You know, we ain't gonna score. That's not the case. There's not an out in that lineup. It's just you got guys right, and it goes back to a lot of it. It snowballs. You struggle. You look up. You're struggling a little bit to score runs. You need to start pressing. You start trying to get pull happy, and you run out of bat. So it just kind of snowballs. And that's the hard part of playing baseball is to be able to do it consistently. That's one of the guys who do it, make the money they make. I don't buy into the fact of the pressure at home thing. I think that's a load of crap.
Me neither.
If I'll say I can't relate to that. I can't relate to that as a player because, you know, I always back before the pitch clock thing. You know, if I go 0-1 on a batter and he fouls the ball off, I used to take my time and get the rosin and let the crowd build up with 2 strikes and 2 out. And by the time I got back on the mound, I was like, dude, you're dead. You have no shot. I'm going to throw this ball through the wall. So I always fed off of it.
Right.
So I don't think it's anything to do at home. I think it's just we got a little in a funk for a couple of weeks and it happened.
56 game schedule. You did 56. You did 162. It happened.
That's why it's called your batting average.
There you go. Jay Powell, you'll hear him this weekend on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and other affiliates, and you can stream Mississippi State baseball on the Out of Bounds radio app and thezone1059.com. Jay Powell, Director of Baseball Operations for Grit Fitness and Training Facility on Lakeland Drive and MSU color analyst on the Out of Bounds show. The interview will be on Spotify in about 20 minutes. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Back in a second. Thanks, dude.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
It's now morning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Show me the money!
Good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're powered by Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Fleetway Market, the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Grab and go breakfast sandwiches, breakfast biscuits, and then they'll turn it into lunch in an hour and a half or 2 hours. Where they got blue plates and grab and go barbecue sandwiches and salads and all kinds of stuff. Fuel up at Fleetway Market, the Market Cafe. Brought to you by their ice cold Michelob Ultra and their blue plates today. Bo Bounds, Jay Meadows with you. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Jay Powell was great. He makes my job really easy because I don't know anything like he does. And he as a 10-year big leaguer and a World Series champ with the Marlins and an All-American at Mississippi State. I love it. I love it. And the fact that he lives right down the road and he'll come in studio live. Which, by the way, if y'all have any Jackson and I talked about this. We need a little call to action on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line, 601-885-3776. When you have a guest like Jay Powell on in studio, there's even more sizzle. If you know of anybody that we would like to have in studio that lives in the metro area that played or is interesting in any way or sports media or whatever, please let us know. Yeah. We don't know everybody. I wish we did. The in-studio guests have more pop and sizzle. And although Mike Detillier has been on fire on YouTube the last 8 weeks, but the in-studio guest, Jay Powell's interviews have been electric, and they're crushing it on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. If you have any recommendations, suggestions, we are all ears. They don't have to play 10 years big leagues. No. That's not it. But just people that you know who we have on the phone and in studio. So if you got a suggestion on someone that we would like to have on, please let us know on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line, 601-885-3776. I know there's people we're not tapping into. Oh, yeah. Throw them out. And if you think about it, text anytime.
Yeah.
And if you text me, I'll give you my number. But 601-885-3776. Jay Powell was awesome. You can hear Mississippi State baseball on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Lined up. Good year to bring them back on. 30-10, 10-8 in the league. Ole Miss 10-8 in the league. We're marching down the stretch. Ole Miss number 6 RPI. Southern Miss number 12 RPI. And Mississippi State number 18 RPI. So the three teams are all in the top 18. Sheesh. They're all going to the postseason. It's just a matter of what's going to happen the next 4 weeks and who punches their ticket to either a national seed, one of the 16 seeds, or on the road as a 2 seed. That's where we are. And Georgia's number 1, but they're number 20 in RPI. Georgia's 13-5, but they're number 20 in RPI. For example, Ole Miss is 10-8. They're number 6 in RPI because they got the number 4 SOS. Don't you love how we throw all this stuff out? Love it. Love it. Hey, can I drop the number 1? Jay Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay. Our audio today is brought to you by Eye Care Professionals. See the difference. See the difference. Eye Care Professionals, if you need cataract surgery just to see better.
Yeah.
Eye Care Professionals, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. Dr. Kirk Jeffries. This is Jay Johnson's the head baseball coach for LSU. 2 national titles. They're 6-12 in the league, and they are struggling. This is what he had to say about it.
Yeah, I think it's a deep-rooted thing. We're off, and it will never happen again. We need to be able to stay on the ball better and, hit the ball back through the middle of the field and the other way and hit the ball lower with shorter swings. It's not the era that these players that we are coaching right now have grown up in. A lot of them, talk about exit velo and distance and home runs and all, and those are great. We have plenty of home runs, honestly. We actually do. I think we're 4th in the league or 5th in the league in homers. If you attached professional at-bats, which what we're known for, what we're a staple of, why we have 2 national championships, with the power on this team, it would be plenty. I made some mistakes in constructing the team and trying to replace 2 guys that were irreplaceable, where we should have looked for replacing them through guys that were already in the program and then replaced the guys that were athletic and could play defense and be more complete players. Okay, we won't make that mistake again. The power moving forward will come from players that start their career here and develop into it, like Jake has, per se, this year. But I can't do anything about that now. But what I can do is try to get them to understand, like Texas A&M, a top 5 team, won the game tonight because they hit the ball hard and low the other way. When did we do it one time? Kate Arabidi did it tonight, okay, and 2-out RBI. But that was the one time. But when we pop up to short, ground out to short, fly ball to center field, the appearance is we're trying to do too much. And trying to do too much is not a plan or a sign of a mature offensive baseball team. And that's my responsibility. And that will get fixed. And I don't know if it will happen tomorrow night or not. I'm going to do everything I can to do that, but that will be fixed.
Wow. Immature hitting baseball team. Jay Johnson takes ownership. This is a 2-time national championship coach. He took ownership. What about him dropping more complete players? And then how about what Jay Powell just said and what Jay Johnson just said? We want to hit the ball hard and low the other way. Jay Powell just framed that up. Okay? Because he was talking about, throwing sliders away to whoever he was coaching at Grit Fitness and Training Facility, and how Tanner Allen asked him what he was working on. That Jay Johnson just teed up what Jay Powell told us 15 minutes ago. That was Jay Johnson, head baseball coach at LSU. Now, I don't have time. We'll do it on the other side. If we don't have this interview coming up next, I'm going back and forth on text, then we'll drop Paul Bird, pitcher at LSU, who has one of the funniest stories about Skip Bertman yanking him out of the game. It's not your fault, Paul. It's mine. I should have never recruited you. That is incredible. It
would break kids these days.
Oh, my God. And it didn't break him, by the way.
Paul Bird, no.
It did.
Oh, absolutely not.
So,
Paul Bird, quite successful.
Good God. Okay. So we're rolling down the stretch. This is going to be good for the show. Good for you. Fun for not all of y'all make it to the ballpark. Duty Noble, Swayze, the Pete. And a lot of you are out on your back patio and you're grilling out and you're listening on the radio and you're listening and you're watching on TV, however you're doing it. This is going to be a hella fun stretch for the next 4 weeks because so much, everything's in front of Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and Mississippi State. Okay? It's there to take. It's just a matter of which one's in the state. Because I think best case it's going to be 2 or 3 of the teams. And that doesn't mean that if you go on the road as a number 2 seed that you can't win a regional. All right, we're powered by Grit Fitness and Training Facility on Lakeland Drive. Jay Powell is the Director of Baseball Operations at Grit on Lakeland Drive behind Ergun.
Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? It's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Show me the money!
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. Going to be an epic weekend in Starkville, Mississippi. Super Bulldog weekend, and then the Starkville Derby, among many other things. But there will be tens and tens of thousands of people there. It'll be a record at the ballpark on Saturday. And the Starkville Derby gets kicked off Saturday morning. People from all over the country and out of the country. I met people from Canada the last 2 years, Vermont, the state of Washington, everywhere in between. And Alden Thornhill is the mastermind behind the Starkville Derby, and he joins us on the Out of Bounds Show and the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Alden, I want you to think and act like you're talking to someone who doesn't know anything about the Starkville Derby. Tell me about it.
Well, I just got to say, it's truly the greatest show on turf. You haven't lived till you've seen 315 of these furry athletes running 100 feet to glory. Also, Mississippi's second largest arts festival, 200 plus food and art vendors, and we even got a concert going on at this thing. So it doesn't matter who you're a fan of. We have Ole Miss folks, Alabama State, LSU. You come in for the Starkville Derby, and your mind will be blown at the production value of this thing. We've got 3 jumbotrons. We've got just so much stuff that my mind's just kind of spinning with the planning of it this week for you to enjoy at this thing. Something for everybody. Doesn't matter your age. We got a big kid zone. Families, everybody can come out and just have a tail wagging good time at the Derby.
Tail wagging good time. The Starkville Derby this weekend. Alden Thornhill is the guy that has put this thing together. Now he's got God knows how many volunteers and people working with him to do this. And it just exploded. How many people were there? 60,000? How many was it last year?
Hey, yeah, wait. I'd say around 80 if we'd guess. We're just estimating.
Love it. I got there I know you were probably there at 3 a.m., but I walked up at 8 a.m. the last 2 years, and it was magic. Like watching everything, watching it all happen, and all the vendors and the race course and the Tito's vodka. Just everything happen is super, super cool. You mentioned you're going to have a concert there. How cool is that, Alden?
Oh, man, awesome. We got a great act, Sam Grissman Project. If you ever heard of Dave Grissman, that's his dad, who was real close with Jerry Garcia. One of the best string players around nowadays. And Sam brings a bunch of great acts. Actually, the cello artist he's having come in with him is actually from Mississippi, and is Casey Musgraves, a cello player. But we've got banjo, we've got mandolin, we've got standing bass. It's going to be a great time, and we're gonna have a really set the vibe early on before we start racing with Sam and the crew. So they travel around the country. They're a big act to get, and when I reached out to them, they were like, "Let's do it. We'd love to play at the world's largest wiener dog race."
World's largest wiener dog race. He is Alden Thornhill. The Starkville Derby is this weekend. Now, Alden, when does it get kicked off on Saturday, my man?
Yeah, so festival grounds will open up at 9 a.m. and then we will actually we'll start the concert at 10, and then we'll start our pre-race festivities at about 11:15. And so that includes our call to post, Bo, which our old Dominic call to post with the bugler that comes out on the balcony. We get a hush over the crowd, and you hear those notes getting played. It's magic. And then we're gonna have a flyover from Nutrient Ag. We're gonna have the national anthem. And of course, and then we'll start racing, and we appreciate our friends at Bud Light helping us get that concert.
Heck yeah! This show is also powered by ice cold Bud Light. In fact, Bud Light and burgers tonight on the grill sounds damn good. All right, so did you say three? Somebody just asked on the text line. Did you say 315 wiener dogs, Alden?
315 racers from 26 different states, and 3 of them were born internationally. So we
I love it.
we've got the racer. You know, we crushed last year. We had 250 racers. This year we had 315. We've been having to tell people, look, sorry, we can't add your dog. Like we've hit the limit. We're gonna try to do 500 next year, but for this year, you know, we've had to hit pause. PAUSE, not PAWS. On it.
All right, so 10 a.m. is the concert. 11:15 is the pre-race, and the party will have already started in the Cotton District, right in front of Two Brothers and the Bin and Bulldog Burger and the Landing, all the other fun places that are there. And they put the course, they block off the street for those that haven't been, and they roll out the course, and they have all these vendors. Last year, Ron Polk was out there. I got to smoke a cigar with Ron Polk, which was awesome. And they've got vendors for days and all kinds of fun. Alden Thornhill on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. All right, so how long have you owned, or do you own a wiener dog?
So I've had the King of the Derby, Memphis.
Okay.
He's turning 5 in the. He's already 5. Yeah, he'll be turning 6 later in the year. You know, I never had a dachshund in my life. Never had a small dog. I got this dog actually for my wife's Christmas, and you know, I've come to find out, you know, the weenie dog. I joined the weenie dog cult. You know, we're a good cult. We don't hurt nobody. But I'm a member of it for sure. You know, the great thing about this, Bo, is you meet so many characters and so many folks like,
yes,
you know, our owners. You know, we got folks that come from, you know, Arizona and California and Seattle and New Jersey, and, you know, to race these dogs. And then we have like professional racers, like our champion last year, Forrest Gump from San Antonio, Texas, who runs on a treadmill and gets acupuncture. And, you know, you meet so many fun stories with this that, you know, people take it serious.
That's so awesome.
It's fun, but it's a serious thing. When people want to win that, you know, the big thing with them this year is they're wanting to get that gold trophy from our friend Mama Justice. You know, when you're in an accident, call your mama. They call Mama Justice. And she wanted to get that picture with Missy. So we are very, we're very excited, and that we get the clips of folks all the time, you know, training these dogs and getting them ready to be in that Bud Light dog box at the starting line. And you know it, Bo, when that door swings open, they're going to run or they're going to sit there in terror and not run at all.
That's what's so funny when they freeze. The best is when they run halfway down, stop,
and
then they turn around. It's so freaking, it is hilarious. All right, buddy, great job. You have absolutely crushed it. The economic development, tourism impact of this is just phenomenal and incredible for Starkville and the surrounding area. It was already going to be a big weekend with Super Bulldog, and you just made it the biggest weekend in the state of Mississippi. Alden, we look forward to seeing you this weekend. Thank you so much, my man.
See you at the Coffee Depot Zachary's VIP tent, Bo. Prestige Rentals knocked it out of the park. We'll see you at VIP Saturday.
Love it. Can't wait. The Starkville Derby starts at, 9 a.m., and then the concert at 10 a.m., and then the pre-race is 11:15 a.m. in the historic Cotton District. And it's, he mentioned the Bud Light box. I love that. Bud Light and burgers tonight. That is a winning combo. Ice cold Bud Light and phenomenal burgers on the grill. Go get you some burger meat from like Flora Butcher and the crew over there in Flora. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows with you. Jay Meadows, straight fun. Double Down, Mr. Ice Cream Drinks. Right here on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone.